U.S. President to hold two non-consecutive terms of office. Phosphorus was originally discovered in and distilled from urine. Yokozuna is the highest attainable title in sumo wrestling. Cape Nordken in Norway is the northernmost point of mainland Europe. Brian Epstein was the manager of the Beatles from 1961 until his death in 1967. The mutiny on HMS Bounty against Captain Bligh took place in 1789. The band of colour formed when a beam of visible light is split into its constituent wavelengths is known as a spectrum. Cary Grant's last film appearance was in the 1966 film Walk, Don't Run. The male reproductive part of a plant is called the stamen. The commanding officer of the Nautilus in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was Captain Nemo. Vitruvian Man is the common title for Leonardo da Vinci's pen and ink drawing of a naked man with his arms outstretched. The Taj Mahal is in Agra, India. James Buchanan was the only U.S. president to have never been married. Wikipedia comes from the Hawaiian word for fast and the Greek word for education. On a ship, the compass is stored in the binnacle. The tibia is the larger bone in the lower leg, also known as the shin bone. The 1992 Summer Olympics were held in Barcelona, Spain. Puerto Rico and Cuba gained independence as a result of the 1898 Spanish-American War. The Kama Sutra was originally written in Sanskrit. A proton torpedo is used by Luke to destroy the Death Star in Star Wars. The Jolly Roger is the traditional name given to a black pirate flag showing a skull and crossbones. Amino acids are the basic building blocks of proteins. was known as the Gold Coast before it gained independence from Britain in 1957. The general term conifer is given to any tree that produces its seeds in cones. In The Magic Roundabout, Brian was a snail. Juliette Binoche won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in 1997 for her role in The English Patient. In 1934, Egypt became the first African country to take part in the Football World Cup. The element carbon was named from the Latin for charcoal or coal. The three national parks in Wales are Snowdonia, the Pembrokeshire Coast, and the Brecon Beacons. A person with the letters LLB after their name has a degree in law. The term mentor, meaning a wise and faithful advisor, came from the name of a friend of Odysseus. Pete Sampras won his first of 7 Wimbledon titles by beating Jim Courier in 1993. Socrates killed himself by drinking hemlock after being sentenced to death on charges of corrupting the young. The Sunday Express in 1924 was the first British newspaper to publish a crossword. The River Tamar forms the boundary between the counties of Cornwall and Devon. The BCG vaccine is given to protect against tuberculosis. Europe's longest river, the Volga, empties into the Caspian Sea. In Greek mythology, Helen of Troy was abducted by Paris. Calais was the last British possession in France. It was retaken in January 1559. Leitrim, Roscommon, Sligo, Mayo, and Galway are the 5 Irish counties that make up the province of Connaught. The Pascal is the international standard unit of pressure. In Coleridge's poem, the ancient mariner kills an albatross. Darwin is the capital and and chief port of the Northern Territory in Australia. The Galton Henry system was introduced at Scotland Yard in 1901 to classify fingerprints. Vishnu is worshipped by Hindus as the preserver, one of the three gods who oversee and maintain justice and the world order. Mickey Mouse was voiced by Walt Disney until 1946. In the New Testament, Barabbas was the prisoner released instead of Jesus at the behest of the crowd. The last royal house to rule an independent Scotland was the House of Stuart. The natural pigment chlorophyll comes from the Greek for green leaf. The Urals, running down the spine of west central Russia, form the traditional boundary between Europe and Asia. In mathematics, a quadrilateral is the term given to any two-dimensional polygon with four sides. Judo was introduced as an Olympic sport at the Tokyo Games in 1964. According to the Shakespeare play, Casca struck the first blow when Julius Caesar was assassinated. Pete Best was sacked as the Beatles drummer and replaced by Ringo Starr. Limestone and chalk are both carbonates of calcium. In a traditional English pack of playing cards, the King of Diamonds has an axe behind his left shoulder. A ring-shaped coral reef surrounding a lagoon is called an atoll. The word sauna